Hey guys, welcome to Coffee and Crime. I'm your host Astrid.
And Vanessa.
And today we have a guest joining us again is Ruben.
What's up?
So today's video is going to be a little bit different. See, 56 years ago to the date, a young girl, 16 years old actually, Sylvia Liken, was murdered. Sylvia Marie Liken was born on January 3rd of 1949, and today we honor her memory. Sylvia was tortured and murdered by her caregiver, Gertrude's children, and several neighborhood kids. The abuse lasted 3 months before Sylvia died. In her autopsy, it showed 150 wounds across her body, several burns, scald marks, and eroded skin. She had been sexually humiliated, belittled, beaten, starved, lacerated, and dehydrated by her abusers. Her official cause of death was determined to be a homicide by combination of subdural hematoma and shock, complicated by severe malnutrition. A little backstory. So, the woman that Sylvia was living with was mother of one of the friends that her and her sister had become friends with. Now, the only reason that Sylvia and her sister Jenny were being watched by Gertrude is because their parents used to work for a carnival, so they would go sell candy, drinks, things like that. And Sylvia's father actually asked Gertrude if she would watch his girls while they were away. So Sylvia's father had promised to send money in the time that Gertrude housed the girls. However, when $20 a week failed to consistently arrive, Gertrude became frustrated. And, understandably so. Gertrude already had 7 children of her own. Mm-hmm. Add 2 more, she's a single mother.
That's a lot you gotta take care of.
Yeah. So because of this, Gertrude became very frustrated, and she would start taking out her frustration on the girls. She would beat them while making comments like, "Well, I took care of you too." She would call them female dogs for a week for nothing. After this, Gertrude began to focus her abuse only on Sylvia. On one occasion, the topic of conversation was about boys and how Sylvia had a boyfriend. Gertrude said, "If you do anything with the boy, you're sure to get pregnant." Then she kicked Sylvia in the genitals. Following this, Gertrude made Sylvia strip naked in front of everyone and made to masturbate in front of everyone with a glass bottle. This girl was a virgin. She was a virgin before all this started.
A little girl.
How old was she?
She was 16.
Wow.
And the whole, I remember reading that in this part, Gertrude had asked Sylvia if she had ever done anything with boys, to which Sylvia responded, not knowingly, not knowing what she meant. "Yeah, I guess so. I've gone to," I think she said, the movie with boys. That one time she lay under covers looking at the stars at the beach.
Wow.
Yeah. Gertrude stated that this act was to prove to her sister Jenny what kind of girl Sylvia was. Things got so bad that they began locking Sylvia in the basement. The torture only got worse. They would rub salt into her wounds, and at one point they took Gertrude's 1-year-old son's diaper and rubbed urine and feces on Sylvia's mouth, then gave her half a cup of water and told her that this would be the only water she received for the remainder of the day.
And I can just imagine the amount, the thoughts that was going through, Sylvia's head, just having to go through all that and having no other choice but to.
Yeah,
That's...
she was a child. On another occasion, Gertrude told Sylvia she had branded her children, so she was going to brand Sylvia. She proceeded to carve "I'm a prostitute and proud of it" onto her abdomen. On October 25th, Sylvia attempted to escape, but because of her injuries, she didn't get far. Gertrude caught her and tried feeding her toast. When she refused it, Gertrude shoved it into her mouth, then beat her with a curtain rod until the curtain rod actually bended. On October 26th, Sylvia was mistreated yet again. She was ordered to recite things, and when she couldn't, they would again get angry with her and beat her. Her last words was her wishing, and I quote, "Daddy was here." Stephanie, Gertrude's daughter, is the one who realized that Sylvia was no longer breathing. She tried performing mouth to mouth, but Sylvia succumbed to her injuries. This part, absolutely. This entire case enrages me, but this part really just, it's the tip of the iceberg. After her death, Gertrude beat her yet again with a book, yelling, "Fake, fake." When she started panicking, she ordered one of the boys to call 911. When they arrived, Gertrude handed them a letter that she had forced Sylvia to write, stating that she had ran off with a group of boys who beat her after she said no to sleeping with them. Jenny, Sylvia's sister, recited a rehearsed version of the events leading up to the moment, but quickly whispered to an officer, "You get me out of here, and I'll tell you everything." Jenny's statement would lead to the arrest of Gertrude, Paula, Stephanie, and John Jr. I might butcher this. I think it's Beninsky, as well as the two neighborhood boys, Coy Hubbard and Richard Hobbs. Initially, Gertrude denied everything. However, on October 27th, she confessed. She and Paula received life in prison for first and second degree murder. Gertrude received first degree murder, and her daughter received second degree murder. On May 25th, Richard Hobbs and Coy Hubbard and John Jr. received a sentence of, I gotta remember when I said, "What the?" This is why. They received a sentence of 2 to 21 years.
And they were involved in all that stuff. Wow.
They were involved in all of that. The two neighborhood kids and Gertrude's son. There was a lot more details on this, but I feel like it was too much.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how her sister, because the sister that was with her, I believe, is the one who had polio. How her little sister would feel being made to sit there and sometimes even participate while someone beat her older sister, you know? Yeah. I'm the oldest in my family. I can't imagine someone doing that to me and my little sister having to sit there and just watch. Like, y'all know Belen, she's rowdy as heck, so I can't imagine how it would be for Jenny to sit there and have to watch it.
Yeah. And from what I know, Jenny and Sylvia were like close. Like they were super close. Like they every single time. I've read that every single time when Sylvia was working every single time she would get paid, her and Jenny would go out. This was before they had moved into the neighborhood friends or the parents' friends, and So I could just imagine, just Jenny having to watch all that stuff just happening.
I would not be able to.
I know at one point, I want to say it was whenever they had gone to church, one of Gertrude's daughters had told Gertrude that Sylvia had eaten way too much at church, and they began to beat her again, and Jenny got in the way and tried protecting her. But, of course, all of those against two children, what was she going to do?
Wow. So, just to be clear, so Jenny had I don't know how to say it because I don't want to be rude about it. Did she have, a disorder or something?
She had polio.
Oh, okay, she had polio.
Yeah,
okay.
She had
what
polio.
What exactly is polio?
I will give you the dictionary meaning because I am not about to butcher this.
Wow. Man.
It is a virus that may cause paralysis and is easily preventable by the polio vaccine. Polio is transmitted through contaminated water and food or contact with an infected person. And I do want to say one thing, whether Gertrude was her mother or just an adult who was supposed to be taking care of her, she was still supposed to be taking care of her. This was just another form of child abuse, child neglect. And, we see it all the time. 2 years ago, I don't remember what it was called on Netflix, but it was the case of Gabriel Fernandez. I didn't finish watching that because of how heartbreaking it was. And, he died because his mother, and I want to say it was her boyfriend, because I don't think that was his father, abused and, starved him. And then we have the case of the 4 kids that just came out from Southwest Houston, where the 15-year-old boy called the police and told them that his brother had been dead for over a year.
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen that case. That blew my mind. Like, I was like, wow.
It's all over everything right now. Did you know that they just released the mom?
Really?
Yeah. No charges have been pressed, and
Really?
they just released her.
They had left the kids there at the apartment. Just left them.
For months, no?
She lived minutes away from them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And they just let her off just like that.
Yeah, and the oldest one was 17 years old, right?
15.
15. And he was the one just watching over all of them.
He was 15. I want to say the one who passed away was 9. And I don't know the other two's age. But I mean, it's just abuse and neglect and all that comes in so many forms, and
not just that, it just blows my mind on how someone is like able to do something like that to a child, like, especially, like, even if it's not your child, it's it's a young life that you're just basically just playing around with, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And as of, like, she had a child herself, so, like, if she didn't want her child to be beaten, why would she think someone else would want their child to be beaten, like, go through that?
And literally over $20 a week. Like,
if I was in that scenario, yeah, I would be mad about the, no income coming in for their child, but at the same time, I would never go that far and just, just purposely just.
Because it's not the kid's fault for not bringing in the money.
See, and even then, I remember, because there is a movie on Netflix about this case, and if y'all want to look it up, it's called The Girl Next Door. It's the 2007 one. You Will Cry. Have some tissues by you. I remember in the movie, I want to say it was in the movie, she sold cans and collected money, and when she came home with that money, Gertrude accused her of stealing it from her wallet. So, like, even if she tried, it still wasn't good enough for Gertrude, And cases like this are just so heartbreaking, because, I mean, like, Ruben, you're her older brother.
Yeah, so I, like...
And Sylvia had an older brother. One of them would go and work with the mom and dad at the carnival. So, like, I do remember reading that at one point, Jenny and Sylvia ran into their sister at the park, and they told their sister about everything that was going on. This is the part that gets me. The sister believed that they were just exaggerating.
Why would you exaggerate over something like that?
How could you lie about being abused?
Not just that. If I had someone walk up to me and tell me that, like, just trying to explain the whole story of what's going on, I would believe it. I mean, that's not something to joke about, No little kid would just come up to you and tell you that, someone's hurting them or someone's beating them and not feeding them or anything. Like, that's not something to joke about or to take in any kind of way to joke.
It's like that show that the kids were watching yesterday when they were on the show because the little boy had said that, I want to say he was 5 years old, he had said that his papa had molested him. And the grandmother confronted the grandfather, and the grandfather was like, "No, I didn't do that." And the little boy ran up to his papa and literally held his hand. He was like, "Yeah, you did, Papa. Remember you told me to go to get naked and get in bed?" Yeah. And so, like, they did a lie detector test on him, and he failed it. He failed it, and the grandma swung on him. And the guy was like, "I don't remember this. Like, I was that drunk that I don't remember doing this. I don't think I was capable of this." But, I mean...
I don't know. Like, I feel like when people say that they don't remember or they were too drunk, I just feel like either way, that it's you doing it. Like, even if you're under the influence, it might be just some things you've been thinking about, so deeply. So when you're in that kind of state of mind, when you're drunk, it just makes you more curious about it and then just makes you do it. So either way, like, it just doesn't come out and just doesn't pop out of anywhere.
And what I don't understand is how you get too drunk to not remember. Ruben, we have gotten drunk together.
Yes, and I can remember, and I'm cautious of what I'm doing.
Exactly. Like we are of age. But like, that's what I don't understand is how does someone get so drunk that you don't remember doing such a thing?
Like, I get it that, you probably don't remember the next day, but, when you're drunk, you're cautious. Like, you're just conscious of what you're doing.
I feel like you're more conscious of what you're doing.
That's what I just feel like that's kind of like an excuse.
Your drunk thoughts are your what?
Are your sober thoughts speaking?
There you go.
Exactly. Like, I've seen a lot of people use that as an excuse also. And I slowly, like, honestly, I just don't believe those kind of excuses at all. Because at the end of
how?
Yeah, like, it's at the end of the day, it's still you that did it. So there's no other way to go around it.
And it sucks because, like, whether she was 18 or freaking 2 months old, like, she's still a kid. And y'all 18-year-olds, don't come for me. You're a child. You don't know anything. Y'all are learning. And it's hard and it sucks. But, like, y'all still have to be taken care of, too.
In this case, when I remember hearing about this case, and when I heard it, I was like, wow. Like, that just kind of changed my perspective of everything.
My heart.
Because it just proves that you just can't trust anyone at all, even with your kids. Like, that's a huge red flag.
And that's something that nobody wants to think about. Because, like, there's Bella. Bella's 3 years old. I want to say that I could, while watching her, I could leave her with one of y'all and she would be fine. Because I trust y'all. I want to say that I could leave my future kids with anybody in my family because I trust them. But do we really know people? Like... I'm almost done. It's just... What am I doing with my arms?
Ruben, you should be in our video every time.
With that being said, guys, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications. We're in Halloweek, which means this episode goes up today, another episode goes up tomorrow, and therefore until Halloween. It's gonna get better and better. Spooky season. But Ruben, thanks for joining us.
More happy to be here.
And with that being said,
Peace out. Peace out, Girl Scout.